Cantare is a canoe made for lighter people, and it's the only canoe right now on the market that is made for that. It was designed originally 2 years ago. The thought was in the beginning was for women, but anybody who was, at my thought, was under 165 pounds. And the reason we designed this canoe is because no one was looking at that part of our market, right? We have a lot of women, we have a lot of kids now, we have a lot of lighter people that are in canoes. And all the canoes that we built were built and designed for the designer, like usually for someone about 180 pounds and above. So as we looked at this through the years, and I kept seeing smaller people on larger boats and what happens when they sit higher out of the water and they're not made for that canoe, we came up with the idea to make something for that group of people, right? So in the beginning I thought, oh, 165 pounds and less, because of my experience with racing in a women's boat in K1, etc. You know, when I was in a men's boat I was slower, when I was in a women's boat I was faster. I preferred the women's boat, the lower volume boat. So now we have a canoe out for 2 years now that is really servicing that part of our market. And at the moment, it's the only canoe out there that is designed for smaller people, right? And we're happy to bring that to the community. If someone is going to tell you that one boat is made for a 120-pound person and it's the same canoe that's going to work really well for a 220-pound person, then that is not the case. There's large volume, there's smaller volume. Larger volume boats displace more water, they're harder to move, the boat sits different in the water. If you're lighter, you sit high, you're heavier, you sit low, etc., etc. So with the Cantare, what's interesting is that we're finding right now is I designed it for 165 pounds and less, and now we got 180, 185 pound and a little bit higher weight. Men, women getting in the canoe and really loving this boat right now. So when the Cantare first came out 2 years ago, everybody looked at it and said, you know, it's going to be too short, it's not going to work, it's not going to glide, it's not going to move in the flat. But the fact is, with the very low volume, narrow hull, tight ends, this canoe works really well in the flat and phenomenal in the surf, actually. When you get in the surf with the Cantare, it's very user-friendly. You can point it, you go wherever you want, picks up speed quick. It's very, very forgiving in the ocean. If you fall off of a bump, you can pull this canoe right up and back over the bump in front of you to get back on it. Some people call the Cantare the Porsche of canoes because it's more like a sports car. It goes where you want, when you want, as quick as you want. The good thing about the Cantare is it has the boat speed and has the travel and has the glide. It also has the maneuverability, but it's shorter in the surf. So when you get in short, close chop, like you have in California or everywhere else, especially in the gorge, you fit in the bumps. You're not sacrificing boat speed, but you're also fitting in a bump that other boats that are too long or over, say 19 feet, might have a little bit harder trouble in. When you're sitting on a canoe and you're looking down the front of that canoe, you want it to look like it's fast. I mean, not only thinking about the bottom of the hull when you design these things, you talk about the top as well. You know, at 15 pounds, sometimes lighter for pro models, smaller people can pick it up, get it to the car, you get it to the water easier. It's shorter, you maneuver around trees or whatever you have to do. And when someone comes up to me and they say, I'm 165 pounds, what canoe should I get on? For me, it's a no-brainer. Like, there's no question you should be on a Cantare, because this is the canoe made for your size, right? All canoes aren't made for every size. It just doesn't work that way. Most of the canoes out there, when we design them, it's usually designed for the person that is paddling that canoe or designing it. So I always designed canoes for my size because I was testing, you know. And I think back in the day, we all believed that we needed all this volume to work in the ocean. And in the last 2 years, we found out that you don't need that volume to work in the ocean. You know, those low volume, sleek, fast canoes work very well in rough water. This is one of our newest Cantares out of the container that just came into Washington. And it has our new rigging system and the new AMA on it. And when we first designed the Cantare, it was designed with the older AMA. As soon as we put the new AMA and the new rigging system that we have out now, which is now the Phantom AMA, we are gaining conservatively 0.3 miles an hour faster with the canoe. And this is in a flat water time trial. Now we get more carry because we have less drag with the AMA. We have more maneuverability in the surf. And the biggest thing to me is when you turn and do sharp turns with the new AMA, you don't slow the canoe down and you don't feel that pressure off on your pedals because it's dragging. One of our guys, one of our younger kids that tried, he said he's getting 0.5 miles an hour faster just with this AMA. I think if you're under 170 pounds and you haven't tried the Cantari, you're missing out on what's made for you.